Hey everybody, Mark Herman, aka LA Bengal fan on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, repping the Bengals for the AFC Northerners. So, no big surprise. Bengals go over to London, lose to the Rams. One team's, contending for their division or at least a playoff berth, and obviously we moved to 0-8. No big shock here. I told you in the my last video that we were gonna not be successful today. But there was some good and there was some bad, so let's go over it. The good, let's talk about three players that I was really happy to see get some quality time in today. Auden Tate continues to look very good. I love the way he makes those contested catches. We had the one play where he was going to get the pass interference anyway, but he still goes up and makes that circus catch. Love what we're seeing from Auden Tate. He's going to be a real addition when AJ comes back. Next year, having him on the field with Boyd, with AJ. We'll get into AJ Green in a little bit. Stanley Morgan getting some time on special teams. He had some plays today, look good. Also, Pratt, although I know he was burned for the first touchdown in coverage on Reynolds, bit a little bit on the play action, took a step forward and let the receiver get behind him, but he's out there learning. That's what he needs to be doing. He needs to be out there learning. He'll recognize those plays later this year, next year, and he'll take the big second-year step. So really happy what we're seeing with Pratt. He still has a great motor. He's all over the place. I like what we're seeing. Play calling was better today. If you noticed, we actually had run plays called when Gio was in the game, and we had pass plays, obviously, when Mixon was in the game. Zach clearly took the message from Jacksonville last week where they said they knew when we were running, they knew when we were passing, and that's not uncommon for a rookie head coach who's not that adept at calling plays yet. And he hasn't shown that he can do that. So there was better play calling. Also, we did what I was asking for earlier in the year, which was we passed to set up the run. We stretched the field. There was one play where Andy Dalton on, I think it was either 3rd and long or 4th and long, launched one. He overthrew the receiver, but it stretches the field. That is how you use the pass to set up the run. That opened up some running lanes for both Mixon and Gio. We had a couple of our longest runs of the season. It's sad when you talk about a 28-yard run or something being the biggest run of the year for us. It just shows you how much we struggled with that aspect of it, but it takes pressure off your offensive line. It helps everybody out, and it's what we haven't been doing. So it was better to see better play calling. So you saw the Bengals moving the ball, and also we saw better execution, both on offense and in defense. Although the defense played, they gave 3 straight possessions in the second half, 3 straight stops where they got the ball back to our offense and our offense couldn't move it. So we still have issues, but overall it was a better game. It wasn't as bad as what we've seen. So, but in typical Bengal fashion, and I want to talk about, there are a couple bad things I want to talk about today. And the first one was we worked so hard to get our scores. The Bengals go down the field on a long sustained drive. We get a touchdown and then we give it all back on one play. I know Webb stumbles. It's sad because he read the play out and then slipped and Cooper Kupp catches it and goes 64 yards or whatever for a touchdown. But it's so typical Bengals to work so hard for a score, tie the game at 10, and then give it back on the next play. That's just typical, and it is what losing teams do. The other thing was the play calling, or the clock management towards the end of the second half. I really questioned. I know we got the ball back, but the Bengals, once again, in typical Bengal fashion, we've got them on a 3rd and 10 inside their 10-yard line, and we give up a 20-yard run. It's just for you to have a brain fart on that play where you actually might have gotten the ball back right before half and scored points. So it's just those little things. But overall, I felt a lot better with what I saw on the field today. But at no point, one of the things you get a feeling of when you're watching these games is it's like, if you're a golfer, it's like a scratch golfer playing a 20 handicap who's playing good early on and the 20 handicap is staying with them, but you kind of get the sense that this team never really fears it. They know at the end they can turn on the pass rush, and make the play at the end to win. I kind of get that feeling like, in the end, the Bengals aren't going to pull this one out. So that's just typical when you have a losing team and a winning team playing one another. Losing teams find ways to lose and winning teams win. So that's that. So, like I said, it wasn't an embarrassing game, but it was what I expected. So no big surprise there. Let's talk about the trade deadline. Everybody's talking about AJ. From everything I'm hearing, AJ's not going anywhere. He doesn't want to go anywhere, and I'm fine with keeping AJ around. What I want to see coming out of the bye, because we're going into our bye this week, is I would like to see us try to move Glenn. Glenn is an issue. I think if we get a fair offer for Cordy Glenn, we get rid of him. So that's the one player I would like to see traded. And we're not going to trade A.J. Green. The other thing is I want to see Finley and I want to see Jake. Let's get our 2 and 3 quarterbacks. Let's move everybody up the chart and let's see what we have with Finley. Let's even see what we have with Jake at some point in this year, because going into the draft, we need to know whether we're quarterback shopping early. And I don't know that we are. I personally would like to take Chase Young with the pick we got. If he's available and we're the number 1 pick on the board, you take Chase Young and you deal with the quarterback later on, if you even need to deal with the quarterback. And that's why we need to answer that question. Whether or not Finley can play next year, where's Jake? And I'm ready to move on from Dalton. I just see limitations. Listen, we had a 4th down and goal at the 6, and he dumped it off to Stanley Morgan, who was being covered by Jalen Ramsey, who tackled him at the 4. That play on a 4th and goal had no chance of scoring. And that's kind of what I see with Dalton. It's, the throwing underneath on 4th down where it's like, why aren't you chucking it in the end zone if you really want to score? So I'm ready. I'm ready to see what we have with Finley. I'm ready to see what we have with Jake. We're going into our bye week, and I'd like to move Cordy Glenn. And I'd like to, if AJ's healthy, I'd like to see AJ back after the bye. And I would like to see, because that will really help out Finley if he's going to make his debut after the bye. And I would really like to see what we can get. If we can move Cordy Glenn before the trade deadline, let's do it. So with that, I'm going to wish everybody a happy rest of your Sunday. Enjoy the week off next week. You won't have. The Bengals will definitely not lose next week. But enjoy the bye week. And I say hoot everybody, and we'll catch you later. Take care.